Cyril Ramaphosa. President Cyril Ramaphosa is today launching the Border Management Authority at the Musina showgrounds. Let's bring in Willem Els, Senior Training Coordinator at the Institute for Security Studies, to weigh in on how this Border Management Authority will tackle security issues at the border. Willem, good afternoon, and thank you for your time with us here on the SABC.
Good afternoon to you.
Let's look at how impactful this Border Management Authority will be on the boosting security at the border, given the approach outlined.
Yeah, it's not an open secret that our borders are extremely porous, and there are several challenges facing our security at the borders. According to to Tracet, who is following the illegal trade, South Africa loses in the vicinity of 100 billion rand per year through illegal trade and through taxes and etc. that are not being paid. But that is only the one side of the coin. The other problem also is because of the porosity of our borders, we have a lot of people in the country that we do not know who they are not documented, etc., etc. And that poses a serious security risk. It also poses a risk when it comes to who is in the country, if we don't know who is in the country. Traditionally, it's been a challenge at the borders because you had your Home Affairs, you had the police, you have the military, you have the Department of Agriculture, Department of Health, Immigration. You have so many different departments that had to work together. Now they combined a lot of these functions where these departments are being combined at the border posts and at the ports of entry, and we believe that will facilitate better operations at the borders.
Willem, thank you for that. Let's unpack that a little bit further. I wanted to actually look at the use of technology features to enhance security at the border along the Kruger National Park and its efficacy in dealing with the issues you've alluded to.
Yeah, we are at an exciting period for this organization or this authorities, because they got a new budget. They could learn from the mistakes of the previous departments where they have been involved, etc., etc. But also they can embrace technology, and that is very important. Many of our border posts do not have the required scanners, for instance, to scan your backscatter scanners to scan the trucks bringing through all the goods. We see there's a backlog of trucks at the Lebombo border post that stretches back for more than 50 kilometers. And all these trucks are just going through, all the paperwork of the drivers are being checked, but what's in the truck is not being checked because we just don't have the facilities to do that. Hopefully with new technology that can be used, we can address that. But also I think the most important point when it comes to a porous border is the issue of corruption. And there are various ways that we can look at how to curb corruption. One of them is to force all your personnel at the border post to wear body cams that are externally monitored, and that will also bring down corruption. We will have to find a way to curb that corruption, otherwise we're not vital.
And so I wonder at this point, with the president now having met with Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa to talk cross-border issues, how significant it is for the two countries at this point?
I think it's very significant because, just a week or two ago, South Africa, along with 4 other border countries that include Botswana, Namibia, and Eswatini and Lesotho, they signed an MOU on countering corruption. And a lot of that is focused on the illicit flow of money, but also illicit flow of goods between the countries. Zimbabwe was not part of that, and we would like to see that maybe with this engagement that they might become part of that memorandum of understanding in order to further strengthen our borders against this corruption and illicit flow of money, as well as, it's a breeding ground for your transnational organized crimes, was a playground for them where there is your microcosms of crime that develop around your border areas, and they all feed of the porousness of the borders. So what the president now mentioned is something that we identified a long time ago also, is that you've got numerous departments that have got certain roles to play, very, very important roles to play at the border posts and the ports of entry, but they all seem to have worked in silos. So with this new approach, we see that they want to bring all of them together. There will be better cooperation, there will be better flow of information, and also one thing that is very important that he mentioned was the one-stop border post. We saw that they already implemented that in part in East Africa, and it seems that in Kenya it is really working for them. It is fast-tracking a lot of flow, it's fast-tracking cooperation between the different countries, but it's also curbing a lot of illicit activities.
Willem, earlier on you spoke about the use of technology as a tool to improve dynamics at the border in terms of operations. And I wonder, given the approach now that has been highlighted by the BMA, how it's going to also deal with the deeply entrenched and sophisticated illicit activity occurring. Given the factors that are contributing to this cross-border criminal activities.
Yeah, one of your best ways of curbing crime, especially in these areas, is that they saw in other countries they started to implement the use of body cameras. What is very efficient in terms of monitoring these members. Those body cameras are remotely controlled from a remote center that is not on the premises. They cannot switch it on or off. They have to get permission to switch it to be switched off in order when they go to, for instance, to the bathroom. But that also curbs then a lot of crime and potential crime. But it also protects the officers against allegations against them of crime, etc., etc. That's one of the ways. Another way that I think maybe if we think out of the box and we look at how they curb corruption in places like casinos, there they are being monitored extensively by cameras with computers, with algorithms that are picking up certain actions, etc., etc. That if they implement that, that might also assist in the fight against corruption. But what also is very important, you know, we have some drones within the military that are currently not being deployed because of a lack of funding. Maybe if there's cooperation between the departments, as the president suggested, between the military and the BMA, and they can deploy those drones to patrols in the porous areas and the affected areas, that might also enhance our security.
Willem, from your vantage point, where are the gaps that still linger? And the extra work that now will be picked up, let's say, by the Department of Home Affairs, given its current operations and responsibilities, do you think it can adequately adapt and manage it?
Eventually, yes. I think we should expect some teething problems. We should expect that there might be, you know, people that have been in certain positions for some time to just hand over all that authority, etc., etc. It might not go very smoothly, but we all know that we've got this new law now, and they have to comply. So we will see that people will have to comply. And also, what is very important is that transfer of knowledge, that transfer of experience from and information from the previous custodians of these positions towards the people that are taking over. But in many places, we believe that some of those people have been moved over to the BMA, and that we don't foresee that challenges there. Another challenge that we see is, where does intelligence come in? You know, you don't build up an intelligence capacity overnight. So we have our crime intelligence and national intelligence structures that are currently in place there that might be enhanced because, you know, they are understaffed. But how are they going to cooperate? That is the question. If we can facilitate a very good cooperation between the BMA and your various intelligence agencies that are operational in the area, that might also assist towards solving the problems.